Today, I'm at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo 2024. I've been going to this convention ever since the beginning, on and off for the past few years. My mission today is to find every Super Mario Land game at the convention. There's only 3 of them, so we're actually going to extend that to the Wario Land games as well, 1 through 4 on the Game Boy, Gameboy Color, Gameboy Advance. I already have Mario Land 1, so let's see if this convention can complete my collection. I've been eyeing the Mario Land / Wario Land games for a few months now. They average between $15 to $40 depending on the title, and I was looking to get them for those prices. Maybe a little bit higher, like $5 higher or something like that, but nothing too crazy. I also had some other games to find, such as Resident Evil Code Veronica, GTA San Andreas, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam / Superstar Saga, Sonic 3DS games, and of course the remaining Mario and Sonic Olympic Games titles. I definitely won't find everything on this list, but hopefully I find all the Mario Land / Wario Land titles. After entering the convention, we headed to this booth on the left corner, which had a bin of cheap Wii and Xbox 360 games. Nothing in the Mario Land quest, but I'm always down for common Wii titles. For $3 to $5 a piece, I had to look through them. The Blob is a Wii game that nearly everyone had on the console growing up except for me. My girlfriend always wants to play these My Sims games, so why not pull the trigger at $3 a piece. Once I got my bundle ready, I asked the seller if he could take a few bucks off. Could you do 10 even?
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
For $10, I got these 4 Wii games. Brain Age Academy is a game I always saw at GameStop as a kid, but never bought it because it was like $30 to $40. So for $2.50, I couldn't pass it up. My first games, not the ones we're looking for. Tradition. We decided to walk into the booth right next to him called Pop and Games from Whitestone, New York. They had a bunch of cool stuff, but this stack of strategy guides piqued my interest. Another side quest I have is to find any magazines or guides of my favorite games. With the recent closure of Game Informer, I might as well try to find any gaming literature for my collection. I found Fallout 3 and Dragon Age 2 guides for $10 a piece. I haven't played these games, but I know Damien would love this Fallout guide, and my girlfriend wanted the Dragon Age one. I got them together for $18. After that, we started to head into the main marketplace area in the middle. Jam-packed with people. It was a hectic shopping experience. I didn't want to walk into some of the booths because of how tight and crowded the areas were. At the end of this stretch, we found a box of strategy guides and magazines. Some were affordable, like Super Mario Galaxy for $10. Some were a little more expensive, like Sonic 06 for $25 to $40. I'm saying those two prices because I saw both of those prices for 2 different Sonic 06 strategy guides, so they obviously didn't even skim through the box themselves. The middle selection of the marketplace was absolutely jammed with so many people. A Salty's Art Creations was here with their zombified figures. There was this crane machine where for 50 cents per play, you could win one of the Kirbys. I decided to put $1 in and I was 0 for 2. I was straight up terrible at this crane machine, so no Kirby for us. Coming to the end of this side, I spotted Mario and Sonic at the London Games for $25 on the Wii. That's the average on eBay, plus it felt complete with the manual. I put it back because I had to focus on the main mission at hand. The bin of loose Game Boy and DS games had nothing for the quest, but I found some Nintendo Power / gaming magazines in the front. This Zelda Twilight Princess one was nice and clean for only $10. I put it back because I told myself if it was still there after we did a whole sweep around the vendor floor, then I'll buy it. Continuing to the other side on the middle, this booth had a bunch of big box PC games for sale. If I collected this kind of stuff, I might have bought the Halo Combat Evolved. This one booth had a bunch of stuff for nearly every popular retro system, especially PS2. Like their PS2 selection was insane. In the back, there was a glass case that had Mario Land 3, Wario Land. No price was shown, so I asked how much. 45. For $45, I most certainly was passing on that one. That's like $20 above the average on eBay. If it was like $5 above, like I said earlier, I wouldn't mind paying $30, but oh my god, that is just egregious. The guy didn't even ask if I wanted it after he said the price. He just silently put it back. So we bailed on that booth. We then head towards the front of the convention, and I believe we stopped by Flashback Gaming. They had a huge selection in the middle, which I didn't really check out because there were just so many people there, but they had a little tiny section on the side. I thought there was nothing in this glass case of loose Game Boy/DS games, but I'm rewatching the footage and you see that, right? That is Wario Land 4. It's just sitting right there. There's no price on the cartridge, but I'm kicking myself for not even noticing or asking about it. Anyways, tucked in the corner, there was another vendor here that had a wide selection of games. Sims 2 Castaway obviously caught my girlfriend's eye, but I saw Mario Land 2 on Game Boy in the glass case. When I asked how much, she said
30.
She allowed me to check the game out for the condition, but I already made up my mind. It's $30, which is $10 above the eBay price. I still bought the Castaway 2 though for $10. After that, my girlfriend wanted to check out the free play area to not only wind down, but also see what games they had available. She became a Hatris maniac, which is a variation of Tetris with hats. It's goofy, but a neat spin on the Tetris formula. She ended up getting a new high score on the leaderboard, so I'm proud of her. Mario Teaches Typing 2 and Lego Island are some of the other PC games we checked out. If you want to try out some old games on genuine hardware, the LA Retro Gaming Expo is the place to do it. I usually don't do the free play area stuff, but I really like how this expo has it set up. Anyways, we finally headed back to the marketplace and did one last lap before calling it in. A lot of the vendors didn't have loose Game Boy games, and if they did, either no Mario Land games, the games were overpriced, or I didn't know, like this binder that's literally sitting right next to me, but because it wasn't labeled, I didn't look. We ended back at the booth with Mario and Sonic London on the Wii and the Zelda Nintendo Power. Luckily, both were still here, but they also had Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games Sochi 2014 on the Wii U. I didn't even notice this the first time I swung around. The total was $55 for the marked prices, but I wanted to see if I could get a $5 discount. I was successful and paid $50 for the lot. This is pretty much spot on with eBay prices, so I'm happy with this purchase. Moving back down, we revisited this booth that had a bunch of gibbets and bootleg video game controller sticks. I first went through their PS2 games and they had a varied selection, Mario Land/Wario Land games too, but they're in Japanese. Meanwhile, my girlfriend was going through this big box of gibbets that were 10 for $10. She picked out 5 for me and 5 for herself. She already put them on my Sonic Crocs when we got back, so you can guess which ones she picked out. And these are the ones she picked for herself. After that, we were kind of done with the convention. Because it was so crowded, I completely forgot about the vendors in the dining hall, which is ironically where I started the day. I met Jimmy, Thomas, and EJ there and thought we would circle back there once we explored the main area, but we totally forgot. We did go upstairs to see the console exhibit, which has nearly every console in release date order available to play with some iconic games to boot. I'm going to repeat myself, but Ally Retro Gaming's free play selection is awesome and definitely worth checking out if that's interesting to you. Before we bailed, I decided to revisit the small selection of Flashback Gaming one more time. I've been told to revisit vendors at conventions because you might run into stuff you didn't see before, just like how I spotted the Mario and Sonic Sochi on Wii U. Anyways, I saw both of the PS2 games on my list, Resident Evil Code Veronica and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. For $10 and $20 respectively, I wanted to see if I could get it down to $25. A bit of a stretch, but the seller met me in the middle with $27. I was already leaving the convention, so I might as well snag these up while I can. GTA is complete with the map and poster, while Code Veronica is missing the manual. Not bad considering the price I paid for the duo. I wanted these games in my collection because Code Veronica is one of the last mainline Resident Evil games I need. I recently learned about San Andreas' rich story and wanted to see if it still holds up. I'm not the biggest GTA fan, but everyone knows about this iconic meme, right? I honestly still can't believe I walked away with 0 Mario Land and 0 Wario Land games. The ones I did find were overpriced, or I didn't even see them at all. I don't remember seeing Wario Land 2 or 3, but like Wario Land 4, it could have slipped under my nose. The busy and crowded nature of Ally Retro definitely made game hunting a lot harder to focus and actually explore every single booth to the fullest extent. I've been going to this convention for several years since the beginning in 2015, 2019. My last visit was 2 years ago in 2022. I decided to come this year to see if anything changed. I'm on a game collecting high this year with my visits to Retro Island Gaming to my recent adventure at Too Many Games. As a collector and someone who only comes for the marketplace slash vendors, I'm kind of disappointed by how it's operated now. We've come a long way from renting out hotel venues to now at the Cradle of Aviation Museum. The Expo has been here for a couple years now, and I think they've outgrown the space. I'm literally shoulder to shoulder, cheek to cheek with people trying to look and buy video games. Because it is so crowded, I couldn't focus and actually look through every single vendor, and I forgot about the dining area where there's more vendors there. I don't think the event is capped either because badges were still on sale the day of. They do utilize the space very well though, I will give them that for how many activities the Expo has, from free play consoles slash PCs to tournaments. There's a lot going on and I commend them for trying to do so much. But even some of that stuff, especially on the second floor, is crowded too. I've never been inside the arcade exhibit because it is dark and, once again, very busy. I don't see myself returning if the Ally Retro Gaming Expo is at the museum next year. It's a very similar format to how it was 2 years ago, and there's not much incentive for me personally to come back. Cap the event or move locations. It's crazy how packed the marketplace is at all times, and the prices of some of the vendors too, but that's a topic for another time. I still had a great time there for the few hours I was there for, but I do hope the Expo improves in the future. And yeah, that's it for the video. I totally bombed my objective of trying to find every Mario Land slash Wario Land game, but I'm still happy with the pickups I bought nevertheless. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have not already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up on Saturdays. You can follow me on social media at TV Sonic Gaming on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everything. You could check out my podcast called the Travis and Damien Podcast, where we talk about games, movies, and anime every other week. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again, and I'll see you guys next time with more videos.